Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 52 of Rannoch, with another Boreal build. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And wonderful scenes to enjoy from this end of the city after last episode's very unique suburb build, of course, relegating the road to promote the pedestrian. And today we're going to head from one wonderful viewpoint all the way up to one of the best, if not the best, the city will ever get in today's build. At the end of today's episode should be particularly wonderful. We're heading up the slopes to finally build the mountain village. You to use the mountain village pack, we'll probably get countryside up here as well. But upon these slopes, which is the biggest mountain this side of Rannoch, this ridge right here, it's the tallest of them all and certainly the most buildable as well. The ones on the other side are a bit of a different story, but we can't build in them. They're too big. But this right here, right, we got some plains to develop where we'll have a bit of a town centre, and then I think lots of rural roads leading up to various different bits of installation of isolated lodge. Alright, should be quite a lot of fun. But first of all, we have two country roads that were left many episodes ago at the end of Ashby Gardens. Let's bring both of these up. And of course, we'll do them as bi-directional highway. And I think pretty much on there, right? So, let's bring these up so how people can get up here today. Super. So that gives us some mountain roads which are in various different bits of switchback configuration, and also gives us a really cool aesthetic at night because you just have these little isolated string of lights. The same thing happens by the airport as well, with the road behind the airport up here, right? I think there's something very wholesome about kind of country road projects. A lot of fun we can be had with them. Viewpoint, we'll definitely work lots of viewpoints in today. You know what, this lets it be a really nice contrast if we can just take a second to admire how bloody good Rannoch looks at night, by the way. I'm very proud of that. But you know, we'll see today's mountain village build from here. I'll make sure to include a shot during the cinematics from that perspective. Then that'd be quite a cool sort of contrast, if you like, kind of opposite sides of the straight mountain builds. It'll be a lot of fun. Either way, let's get stuck into some town centre roads. So this terrain is extremely unruly here. Building on this is essentially impossible without Move It in vanilla. Now this canyon isn't really serving a purpose, and I think what I might do is actually divert it back into this one that is being used as a river, which we need to sort this out as well today because it's pooling here, which is why it keeps staggering on the way down. So I think I am just going to join a few of these rougher scars together just so they're a bit more friendly for building a town here. We will, of course, try and respect a lot of it, but a lot of these deep, kind of gnarly gashes are eating up into my buildable space, and this is definitely where I want it. Any higher up, and we're kind of messing about with map fog here, and it's just going to be too close to the edge of the map. I think, you know, right here, it's not going to be great if we've got a town here, is it? Do you know what I mean? Great view, but we'll just have to go down a little bit. But we'll put some lodges up on these slopes as well, though. That'll be fun. So yeah, that's my thought process just behind some of the terraforming there, which I know will trigger some people, which is fine. So with the new town, let's begin with our town centre frame. So I'm going to grab some fancy landscape roads. This is going to be a very nice town. We want lots of tourists here. So I'm just going to flatten up a little plain, somewhere where I can place my town centre and some initial homes and houses and whatnot. And let's go for that little spot there. That gives a nice central view. And then I want to place one of those anniversary parks we got a couple of weeks ago with that new park. If I can find them, they are here somewhere. So we could do this 10th anniversary park. We've yet to use this one. It is a bit kind of flamboyant, isn't it? It is a birthday cake in the middle of the town. Which, oh, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Is there a better choice there? What were the other ones? The industry park and the transport park. Which one do I actually prefer here? I want to use one of them. I'm kind of leaning more transport park. I think, you know, maybe there can be some heritage here to Rannoch's kind of transport heritage, right? Because all of these transport methods here are actually in use. Also, we do have hot air balloons yet? We don't, do we? No, okay, well, we'll add hot air balloons today then. I think we'll go with the transport part then. I think we'll go with it. I think the other ones, I would like to use the industry park, but in an industrial area. This, I might be able to hide it in a suburb somewhere, but I can't. I just can't have a birthday cake as the town centre. My, my design brain just simply won't allow that. But we'll try to put it somewhere. In a live stream probably, where no one will see me place it. Cool. So let's go for some tree-lined streets around our town centre. Now we can begin to form this neighbourhood up. We'll lots of viewpoints here against the cliff edges, so aligning my roads to help respect that idea. And perhaps we can come down more of a guideline. Let's introduce some herbs and shapes into this, shall we? So in terms of residential here, I mentioned we'll use countryside, I think, for a lot of the low density. I wouldn't be averse to some of the older emerging downtown stuff also being used up here. And this secondary road that comes off, now we'll likely build other things on this mountain as well. We had a great suggestion a few months ago for out of season ski slope, which I think we're going to do. I really like that idea. So maybe we'll put that over here, or maybe over there somewhere actually. But there'll be plenty more mountain builds. So just going to hook that other connection in. That gives us ways to come up and down. Let's also make sure we connect this in here as well. Can we centralize against our... Oh, yes, we can. Thank you very much. Let's do some asymmetry here as well on the way into the town. So another key visual of this build that I have in mind today is the tree palette up here. I think is going to be quite different. I think we're going to go much heavier pine and spruce here than anywhere else on the map. And I want that particular vision because let's just give it a little bit of an example here. Let's come into our unique buildings. We'll grab Mountain Village, which is available by Instant Gaming down below if you'd like to help support the channel. There's many a great deal to be had there. So let's get all the big chungus ones in here, right? This is the build for Mountain Village to shine. I'm going to call it Mountain Resorts multiple times today when it's called Mountain Village. It's just one of those things. Cool. So I love that. And I'm going to make a new one here. We're going to go for heavy boreal pineage. And here we're going to go boreal pine. Quite strong. We're going for a pretty even mix of them all. Both for the conifer trees. Also want no redwoods actually. We'll do the Norway spruce. Absolutely. Wild conifer. Wild hedge as well. Let's see what this looks like. Increase the strength a little bit. By the way, I did have someone ask how I change the size and strength of the forest brush. And if you hold Alt and move up and down, you change your strength. If you move left and right, you change your size. And that's how I interact with it. So just hold Alt and then move it around and it'll do the things. Just had a few comments about that recently, so that's how you do it. Back to my original point. So there'll be tons of this all over the mountain, right? Especially around the country road. Although I will keep some of these kind of chasms open if you like. Lots of rocks and whatnot. Imagine there's lots of landslides around here, etc. during the thawing months. And then maybe a little bit on the top of the town there too. There's even bears up here, fantastic, very thematic. He's even hiding in the tree. Isn't that a terrifying prospect? These people here on holiday. There's bears lurking immediately. Still there as well. The bear has one of the best views in the city too. But my point being here is that I will want to create lots of this visual, this kind of pointed, tapered, brown wooden lodge roof, just visible through lots of dense pine. That's really what I'm going for. I think I'm also, just to mend this, I'm going to reduce the amount of boreal pine because it's very, very heavy there. I'll just repaint that now. Yeah, that boreal pine's very tall. I think it can be a bit dominant, can't it? I suppose it's not going to make that much difference, but yeah, for me. Cool, so we'll have that there. Let's bring in some more of this stuff. Let's do... I want all the big stuff here, so let's grab... We'll centralize that on there. Let's also get our district painted out and named as well today. I'm just going to name today's town after our wonderful patron, Deefa Dog. We will have the town of Deefa up here in the hills. And we will also give this a countryside specialization as well. Should be an awful lot of fun, I think, partner with this stuff. Get some services down as well. And we will also take the countryside variants of these. I suppose you could do the mountain village ones. I think we'll do mountain village. Let's cluster these up around here. And start to bring some commercial space in here too. I would also love to not neglect the actual hotels here too. So of course we're keeping the theme. We don't want this stuff here, for example. The Heritage Hotel. Does it go here? Does it go? It's a bold move. What if you heard that? That was a Domino's notification on my phone. Just singing the Domino's theme tune casually. I was like, what the hell was that? They must have changed that. Anyway, don't buy Domino's, it's very overpriced and not good for you. But this is good for me. I do like the castle, although maybe not here. I almost think I want this out on the cliff edge. Like you would imagine a castle to be positioned, right? So let's bring this road down. Bring it right out here, just before it starts to dip down. And then, so I want you orientated this way, really. I think it'll need some rocks and whatnot to make it work. But as an eye draw for the town, I can get away with that, I think, without having to use the monument. That's pretty cool, right? I think I like that. You can imagine it used to be used perhaps to defend this waterway during ye old times of trade, etc. It used to defend the valley, you can imagine that, right? I think I really like that. Wasn't planning to use the Castle Hotel, but yeah, let's do it. Let's leave it in. I think it will take some rock work around the bottom to blend it in, but we can do that. Let's also use more Mountain Village. Lots of hotels right here. Lots of dense roofage. Let's change up our angle here as well if we can. Let's do some of that. Let's bring some of these roads down. Really pack them in, of course. These are all unique buildings, so they're all going to serve to draw tourists to the area. There'll be spaces we're going to get like this, which I think will happen quite a lot today, because I think we'll have some fun with nature reserve assets and paths through these, just to make them look as though they're part of the hotel. You know, for example, you can imagine this is all part of the same hotel, right? There's just 3 separate buildings, is the sort of the process I want to think about there, really. You do clash with airport aprons, I think, don't you? I think I have to check. No, they don't. They don't. Okay, well, I can use these then. Not everywhere. And just in quite specific places, really. Pretty much that. Let's also blend this in as well. Cool. And then let's bring in some... I'll tell you what, actually. I am going to do it that way. Because the collision radius of the building is there. So if I have a bit more concrete, I can probably use that for some prop detailing. So let's do some hedge lining. Always, we'll try to save our nodes. We're using a lot of roads today, so we'll try and spare a thought for the node count. And then just like that, might even break it there as well. Do we have a tile of space there? Let's just bring that down. And then that little trick there will just serve to help us make us feel like this space behind the hotels are actually functioning, you know? And then let's head into some plazas and promenades props. Actually, it's not plazas and promenades. I think I want the mid-century modern tables here for some reason. They are sticking in my head. I don't know why. And then just a series of recreational space for hotel guests to use. Maybe some lounges, perhaps. Maybe over here we can have some lounges. We do some rows of them. Let's do like that. It's a bit better. You're a bit close together there. It might be annoying. You're just sunbathing elbow to elbow with some strangers. Maybe we'll do a few rows of sun lounges so you can catch the sun, because the Rannoch sun moves right across the sky here. I might even just chisel out the occasional tree or two, just to reveal that skyline a little bit more. Right, quite fun. Then let's use some fencing. I want to use a bit of, I might even do some farm fencing out here actually. And then I'm using fencing here because I want to maintain that view. I feel like if I hedge lined it, it would kind of block it a little bit. And then maybe some more custom tree work in these hotel grounds. Okay. And there's so many more prop little variations we can do with this, right? And we could even build out another little courtyard here, wouldn't we? Let's do that together. So come back down to like there. And then something like this. Again, let's use the backs of those buildings, right? So let's go for like that. And then we'll have airport apron here, which can be the back entrance into that one. And then we'll keep these two clear. And what we can hopefully do, if the game doesn't hate me, is we can just make them make sense like this, right? Now let's get some parking behind here as well. So, you know, like, the parking is kind of out of sight behind the hotel. And we'll use some of our ploppable for that. Let's have that there, maybe. And draw the road a touch further out. And then this is all bush lineable as well. Get more sun lounges out there, tables. Some of the mountain resort props actually might go quite nicely with this build in particular. And then just stuff like that, right? Lots of people arriving. Hello, people. We've got a bit of a death wave as well down here. I have just reset the graveyards off camera a little bit. Got a bit of abandonment over here, actually. You guys, Atlantic has death care, doesn't it? It should do. Or maybe it doesn't. Did I not put it over? Yeah, there's one over here. And there's one over here as well. Oh, they're historical. I think that's why they're not going away, right? Are you historical as well? Yes, you are. Okay. That's why. Yeah, view that castle while we're down here though, right? So you could even, that's a real landmark for the city, isn't it? I don't think I want to use the monument here. I think we'll keep the Boreal hilltop castle proper, or Palaven, right? We don't want to recreate that here. But the smaller castle in the hills of Rannoch is most welcome. We really like that. And already we can see this vibe coming together, can't we? People arriving, let's see where they're going. So we're doing to be particular about what assets sit here. Love the ice cream parlour. The Art Deco stuff can stay. It's very touristic. We don't want the car wash here. I'm happy for the diner. Right? Lovely. Let's get some more services as well. Let's do our police this way. Let's do countryside. And then we'll do mountain resorts with a bit more commercial around it. Very nice. And let's bring in our low density residential now as well, so we can have people living here. I would love to set up a bus service. Although cable car could be better. I think do I want cable car up here? I know the cable car police are going to want cable car. Where could we tie it into though? I don't just want a cable car station sat here. That'll look super weird. I was going to do a bus. Just like a shuttle bus up and down the mountain. That brings them back to the transport hub with bus facility. There's one in Goodwin Square, isn't there? Put it here. Bit of a drive though, isn't it? I suppose it's not really. It's only across the interchange and down there, isn't it? Yeah, cable car. I think it'll be more of an afterthought. I think we will use cable car in the city, but maybe we'll put it in the out of season ski slopes instead, I think, as opposed to up here. I think that's what we'll do, because it's definitely a bit of an afterthought at this point. But let's get that bus line set up anyway, just so we can have a bit of a ferry system coming up. Or ferrying people back into, not literal ferries, of course. So begin at the town centre, and then just come all the way down. You might as well stop on your way down here. And then come into Goodwin Business Estate. Shout out to Brassack, our wonderful Discord moderator. Thank you for all your help, mate. And then that can come all the way back up to there. And then let's catch that bus line. We want... Where are you? You'll be bus line 12, won't you? Yes, you will. Make this the cute little shuttle. Little minibus. There we go. Actually I might do Japanese commuter bus, just in case it gets a bit busy. That's not the right one, is it? I don't know what I just changed there. That's fine though, that's getting a new bus now. That probably was a double decker, wasn't it? I probably shouldn't have changed that. I can't remember which one that was. It's fine though, it's fine. And then this is EFA to Goodwin. There are a few still unnamed bus lines I need to catch up with. But otherwise, what is our busiest one now? 319 on the Goodwin estate to Custer. Very nice. Good little busy bus hub, that Goodwin estate. There's another busy one there too, leaving from it. Very tasty indeed. But that gives us transit up here at least. Now I can turn my attention to people that live up here. In the forms of some flowing hilltop countryside stuff. Do we have lights up here? Wondering what they were. So just regular suburban road design out here. I'm not looking for anything overly fancy or engineered. I just want to see lots of this low density residential growing up. Which I think I'm going with the right choice with countryside here. Last time we used it, of course, in Beriscan, one of our other rural towns. It was very well used, very specifically, of course, with the fields in mind here, right? I feel like this was a much different way of using countryside. So we'll see if it works. I imagine maybe the farm aesthetic of the houses might be a bit weird for what I'm trying to achieve today, but we'll see what happens. We might end up changing to good old faithful European suburbia. What else? There is no other choice, is there? So you guys will also want more parks as well, won't you? Let me just throw down some quintessential residential parks. We want small playground. It's not a small playground. That one is. And then let's grab dog park 2. Let's stick dog park on town centre. Just to make it more appealing for these houses to begin growing. There we go. There they come. This should be okay on the hillside here. Should be pretty sweet, I think. And then off of these roads, just begin to kind of explore today's build of Mountain Village. Let's pick out this as an example here. I mentioned I did want some kind of isolated lodges. Let's actually position the lodge first. So maybe one right by the flowing river here, right? We can have our road. And then let's do unit building. And we'll have not something too big. I don't want to be absolutely massive on top of the hill. Maybe something like that. Although you need to be facing the other way, don't you? Yes, you do. You do. That's okay then. Let's just do... I actually prefer that. And then around the foot of the complex here, we can... oh, there's a full graveyard there. That's why we've got so much dead. I missed one of them. I think I'm going to install Move It, because this is the bane of my existence, having to reset these vanilla graveyards. If you have Move It, you can just select the building and hit reset without having to do the natural disasters way. So I might just grab that, because it becomes annoying after 52 episodes of doing it, you know? Yes, but anyway, up here, this is Luxurious Lodge number 2. Also goes by Linda, apparently, which I didn't realise. And then let's grab the slope here and just do some switchbacky stuff up this way. Lots of fun little country mountain road details today, everyone. Always a fun theme to work in. Then in terms of how we can flesh this out, let's give it a car park here, a couple across the street. And then we'll grab some nature reserve assets. I'm also going to grab the Nature Reserve Museum up here as well, which is essentially another mountain lodge, isn't it? It looks pretty much exactly that. Very nice indeed. We'll have that one up here to accompany this. And then we'll also throw in some Nature Reserve assets. So let's have perhaps a lean-to shelter. Now we could make this an actual Nature Reserve itself, so we can get some of the nicer viewpoints up this way. Which I think is what I will do. Now, if I can just steal a park area, I'm much more inclined to do that, because I don't really want to have the gate up here. I could just steal Cherry Zoo, which is what I'm going to do. People will still come and visit it, despite the fact it is actually technically a zoo, as opposed to a nature reserve, but the game doesn't care. And then let's have some of these up here. And then we can just spend a lot of time personalizing these little hotels that are tucked up in the in the hills here, outside of actual kind of Defa town center itself, right? There we're going to get their path connection, because of course it's pretty not that sensitive really, is it? With the path hooking in there. And then some more custom trees, and then lots more of that pine coming back in again around the base. Really create that visual again, which we'll get a sense of once we pack some of this in. Very nice indeed. Right, and then we can have tons of fun again with just those little brown wooden lodge roofs visible through the boreal pine tree is what I want to happen today. Right. And then we have tons of fun with this stuff down here as well. Lots of little hotel developments to embellish. We're essentially doing the hotel version of the Billionaires estate build we did over there, over that side. It should be a lot of fun, but that gives us a very basic frame of what I want to do here today. How am I feeling about the countryside stuff? Yes and no, sometimes. I think it's... I do wish sometimes it wasn't so agricultural focused. I think it can be in the countryside without being themed with agriculture. But that's a very minor pick. I'm going to keep them. I think especially when these also get their dense local forest, you know? Like these guys are living in a big boreal pine forest on the hill. So their back gardens are very much surrounded. It should give us a pretty cool aesthetic. Looking on them down here through the forest. And these guys have bloody tremendous views as well. Look at that, right? Amazing. Fantastic. God, it's big, isn't it? It's really big. Kind of Rannoch's size really snuck up on us, you know? Big city now. But either way, we have our basic frame and ideas down. Okay, so have some snacks and settle in for some detailing. And we'll build up our mountain village. Alright guys, let's take a look around the mountain town of Duffer, shall we? Really, really cool build this, and I love the variation in forest, like we've gone into kind of deep mountain pine this high up. Really cool. So it's getting plenty of traffic too, the little mountain roads that switch back up through the various valleys of Rannoch. They all come up here. It's likely this networks will change, as I mentioned. We'll probably have some other mountain builds spanning off of these networks. Perhaps some... We've got to put the observatory somewhere, so that'll likely end up right here somewhere. So I expect all this stuff here to change. It's really just a connection for today's build. But then we do kind of ascend, switch backing up the hill here. All the way up. Pretty nice gradients as well, I think. Definitely get some nice steep mountain roads near me in the Lake District and the Yorkshire Dales and stuff like this, so always fun to see. And the town centre is lots of commercial. We have more hotels in here. There's things to do. Doctors, medical services, hotels. This park settled in surprisingly nicely, actually, considering what it is. I actually don't mind it here at all. And of course, with those mountain resort assets, I've not used all of them because I probably want to save a few of them for the out of season ski slope build, which we'll do. So I haven't used all of them around the build. Next to the castle, we've placed in one of the chessboards. Also the very English-looking high school from the countryside pack, which I hope you agree is a very nice accompaniment to the castle, isn't it? Almost kind of functions as like a gatehouse that you can imagine now has been converted into kind of luxury self-catering accommodation as part of the castle hotel's offering, something like that, right? There's also a pool here, which has magnificent views across the mountains. I could probably trim these trees back to give it a view of the downtown. But magnificent views nonetheless across to the east of Rannoch over there. With this viewpoint possibly being the best in the city, I think. What a wonderful view. And we'll check out the nighttime views as well before the cinematics because it's worth it. It's definitely part of the build. And then up here across the valleys on the outside of the town, also complete the detailing through here as well. And with gazebos, bird baths, fountains, chairs, little lean-tos for guests to enjoy the grounds of the hotel. There's some signage here on the big concrete entrance to the back of this one. With a sauna next door as well. So I think we did a pretty good job of kind of blending in the assets right to make it look like one large kind of resort with different buildings. And kind of blending them together with kind of tactical apron, if you like, for lack of a better phrase. And of course you can imagine these rooms right here cost an absolute fortune because they give that view, which isn't bad at all to wake up to, is it? Might have made that today's thumbnail. It's pretty cool anyway. So yeah, really happy with how that came out. Up here, just tucked in some smaller versions of those mountain resort assets, mountain village. These are up here. Yeah, with wonderful views across the whole city. Absolutely magnificent, that, isn't it? All the way over there now as well after the last episode. Big old views. And then up here, at the mountain road, just kind of snakes up the ridges. I really love the road network through the whole village here. A lot of fun. This snakes up this little ridge line here with some rocks and overgrowth around it into another little hotel complex where there's tennis, lean-tos and shelters and viewpoints and little lodges tucked into the trees there as well. It's a really fun combination of assets, and so many packs really complement each other here as well. You know, you got the hotels working together with park life and countryside, mountain village. So really fun kind of asset collaboration, if you like. They've also got some of the schools tucked in here as well. You'll notice one here, and then there's one here as well, just using the countryside pack in amongst the buildings, which I am happy with. They are very agricultural themed, but I can get away with it for the most part, I think, on this mountain. So yeah, don't mind the countryside stuff up here at all. And then over here, you guys mentioned in the last rural town that I didn't put a church in, so here we've done a little mountain top church cemetery setup with some expanded cemetery designs. These are actually the fence panels from mid-century modern that, when you zoom out a little bit, sort of resemble headstones. So we can just have a little graveyard up here with a little mock church and a kind of a chapel also present with a gazebo, just to give some death care present on the mountain. Otherwise they'll have to drive up, you know, from down in the city, which is miles away for them. So that's another cemetery for me to keep empty on. And then up the hill, we arrive up to the last of the hotel complexes, which has parking, saunas, lodges, again, a very busy playground. Imagine this is kind of the kid-friendly hotel, right? Again, with the best views in Rannoch available from this specific balcony. It's pretty great, as you can see everything from here. The dam over there in the distance, the airport as well. See how big the airport is from here, actually? See all the big concrete airfield out here, can't you? Really cool. Really cool. This build has been talked about, pretty much actually. Rannoch's teaser trailer ended here, didn't it? It was right here. I'm gonna put it up on screen while I'm talking about this. Yeah. Yeah, Rannoch's teaser trailer ended here. I'm pretty sure that was the exact point. And now it looks like that. Which is such a long journey, isn't it? Holy smokes, everyone. Holy smokes. And of course, the nighttime views are unrivaled from here. Just to further accentuate how fat that view is. This is so cool. These guys up here just living the dream, aren't they? Living the dream. And then we have the view from the castle, of course, as well. Imagine these turrets, right? People living in these very top rooms, the balconies here. Down and across to an absolutely magnificent twilight skyline, right? Really, really cute. But otherwise, guys, that will do it for today. Let's thank you all so much indeed for watching. If you have enjoyed it, those likes, comments, and shares below always go a long way to helping support the channel and helping bring new people in. If you're enjoying the content, consider checking out the Patreon and the Instant Gaming linked below. Both links help support the channel. Really fun build this. We've talked about this for eons, pretty much a year. And of course, with episode 52, although the fact we're in a week of advance of early access, makes Rannoch a year old. 52 weeks. We've had an episode every single week. For the last year. So thank you for supporting it for so long. Yeah, it's just so nice to see you all. If you've made it to the end of episode 52, you're probably one of the more hardcore viewers. So thank you for still continuing to support these build projects after so many years of doing them. They're I can sit here now looking across this build of Rannoch after it's the 10th city I built in whatever time frame, and I'm still just as satisfied with kind of the end project of watching it all come together and move, right? Nothing else like it in video gaming for me. I absolutely love City Skylines. Massive shout out to the YouTube members and patrons that support the videos with a roll call to our golden patron eggs: Andrew Perez, Mad Wolf, Blythe, Casino, Darius Lara Roberts, Louis Adlam, Michael W, Phoenix ND, Spartan Angel, and Wesley Kip. You're all secret blends of herbs and spices. Thank you so much. All of that relentless support. Please do enjoy what I'm sure will be probably the best nighttime cinematics of the series thus far. I'll shut up and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.